The Finding Purpose podcast is proudly brought to you by Relive the Moments, founded by visionary entrepreneur John Lim. We live in a world where it's easy to capture memories, but Relive the Moments makes it effortless to re-experience and share them. From NFC-enabled tap coasters and photo frames to interactive video cards, Relive the Moments turns everyday objects into unforgettable tap-to-experience keepsakes. Imagine gifting a wedding guest a coaster that instantly opens your highlight reel, or giving your event sponsors a custom frame that tells your story with just one tap. Whether you're celebrating a milestone, planning a wedding, honoring a legacy, or elevating a brand experience, Relive the Moments is the bridge between the past and present, between memory and connection. It's not just a product, it's an experience. Visit www.relivethemoments.com and use promo code PURPOSE for 25% off your first order. Let's bring your memories to life, one tap at a time.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Finding Purpose podcast. I'm your host, Adam Vora, and I'm so grateful to have you here. This podcast is all about exploring the journeys of incredible individuals, people who have faced adversity, found their purpose, and are now making an impact in their communities. But it's also about my journey. Over the years, I've faced my own obstacles, moments of doubt, and struggles with identity. Through it all, I found my purpose in giving back, creating a space where people can detach from the negative emotions and stigmas they may associate with their own stories, just like I did with mine. Here, we have real conversations about growth, resilience, and transformation. Whether you're searching for direction, striving for personal development, or simply looking for a place to feel seen and understood, this is for you. So if these conversations resonate with you, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and connect with us on social media. Now let's dive into today's episode.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Finding Purpose podcast. I'm Adam, and I'm truly grateful you're here. Whether you're listening on Apple Podcasts or watching on the official YouTube channel of the Finding Purpose podcast, thank you for the continued support. And if you haven't already, please subscribe, leave a review, and share. It really helps to grow this community. Last week's episode with Akinmisiri Moose, your friendly neighborhood moose, that's how he goes by, he reminded us that preparation and discipline can completely change the direction of your life. Today's guest lives by that same principle, and he's someone I deeply admire and I'm proud to call a close friend. Kendrick Constant is a top-performing advisor at Northwestern Mutual, helping individuals, families, and business owners gain clarity so they're ready when opportunity presents itself. Kendrick doesn't just focus on money, though. He focuses on aligning finances with real life, whether that's career changes, family goals, or building something bigger than yourself. What I admire most about Kendrick is his belief that financial planning isn't about limitation, it's about freedom and leverage. It's about being prepared so when life opens a door, you're ready to step through with confidence. Beyond his work, Kendrick is committed to giving back, serving on civic and educational committees across Connecticut, and helping advance financial literacy and workforce development. He leads with integrity, intention, and heart. This conversation is about preparation, purpose, and building a life that's ready for opportunity. Kendrick, grateful that you're here.
Grateful to be here.
Hell yeah, bro. And
Yeah.
it's so funny, bro, because we met in Chicago with Warm Heart Life, the speaker school, and have, been in touch throughout that first year.
Yeah.
And really have connected more this year, which I'm really grateful, or last year, now that we're in 2026. So, and I'm really grateful to kind of see how you've grown both professionally and personally since then. And, what you're doing now has been tremendous. But I really want to, talk a little bit about your story and really start from the beginning. So if you can, maybe share with my audience,
we got to give some credit to Brandon Godoris and Warm Heart Life because, that community and Brandon had just the amount of people that have been connected and been able to curate.
Yeah.
That's a special thing. That's just like growing more and more. So I
Yeah.
just wanted to put that out there.
Well, shout out to B and everything that he does. And, I think, and I'm speaking for myself here, going to that speaker school, connecting with Warm Heart Life, immersing myself in the opportunities that it has afforded me also helped to build my confidence early on in a way
Yeah.
where I was able to kind of really find my voice.
Yeah, 1,000%. So like when we met, where was I? I was still in corporate. I was in public accounting, but like keeping it discreet, building up a practice on my own. So I would go to different churches, anywhere I can find people who are sitting and prepared to be focused. I'm like, I'm going to leverage that platform. And I'd talk about financial literacy. And then through speaker school, I was learning sales skills, right? Because that's part of it, right? We're the product, but we're pitching ourselves with how we speak. And there's not a lot of places where you learn to speak and engage people, you know? So sometimes life is funny.
Yeah.
You'll be in a space and not know that that's preparing you for what comes next. Because truth be told, if I didn't have that training before I started at Northwestern, I might not have had the success that I did. I didn't know what was coming. I didn't know, doing all the workshops, not a lot came from it, but it built a lot of trust.
Yeah.
People knew me, and it was very easy to convert, those organic relationships based off the work I did prior. But that's always been me. Like I enjoy living life, and I think living life is not doing what can be done over and over. Like what's new, what can be curated and created. That's been the case since college, and now I'm just translating that into real life. So you asked my story. Was I?
Yeah, I'd love to get a little more insight into like your origin and your upbringing and where you grew up.
Yeah, so Norwalk, born and raised, and then I ended up going to school in Stanford, AIT, Academy Information of Technology and Engineering. And I appreciate that school because it really allowed students to be their own individuals. And I didn't realize how rare that was because, like, I was able to go into college as myself, not looking to conform, but just to be me. And I didn't realize that was rare. So shout out to AIT and any AIT alumni. So while I was at school, again, super engaged. I would work, getting involved on committees, and then I'm the same person. I've just like evolved. So the committees now, I'm on the Budget Estimation and Taxation Committee in Norwalk. In that committee, we set the budget for all the municipalities. We set the mill rate for all the different sections. And these are, like, my shoulder gets tapped. People recognize my intentions and that I'm trying to do good, so they try and engage me. And I've had to do a better job of vetting, like, should I get involved? Because I care a lot, and I'll dedicate the time, but time is money.
Yeah.
So it's like I can't be everywhere at once. It has to make sense. It has to be aligned with who I am, what I truly care about, and what I'm doing. So that's one committee. And then the Pathways to Constructions and Trades. There's a shortage in the trades industry. So like plumbing, electrical, HVAC, people don't want to do that work. And there's an opportunity because that's a problem, right? So we're trying to get students, high school students, engaged and funnel those proactive students to jobs, right? Because reality is they're going to be getting paid more than doctors because they don't have any loans. And because of the shortage, electricians are getting paid more because of AI, data centers. There's going to be a high demand and not enough people to keep up with that workload.
Yeah.
Right. So, and then what's the third? alumni advisory council. Again, shoulder was tapped because of the people I serviced, and yeah, I just try and if I'm tapping into a community, it has to make sense. That's my
Yeah.
alma mater. So I do want to give back, but that also serves as a funnel for clientele.
Yeah, no, I love that. And one of the things that I've known about you for as long as I've known you is like how genuine you are when you do commit to a given mission, and that you do give 100%, but it's not from a place of amplifying your name and your platform. It's about really making sure that the people who are going to be affected by your work and your consultation are going to benefit. And frankly, I think that's rare when it comes to the competitive nature of the world right now, where it's a lot of people really just leveraging and amplifying their themselves. And maybe in the beginning, the intention was good, but as they continue to grow, they get struck with that disease of more and that obsession with more.
More what?
More anything, whether it's more money, whether it's more fame, whether it's more attention, whether it's more notoriety. I think that disease of more is very prevalent in the way that people move now. And you're one of the few where it's more impact, it's more positive change,
Yeah.
and it's more, hey, how can I help you?
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that, because I think the people who get consumed by the fruits of their labor, eventually they fall off,
Mm.
right? But it takes a level of strength to stay course, even when you see the benefits, to like not get distracted by like, you're getting attention. The same girl who didn't want to talk to you 5 years before, now she's like, ooh,
You tried
now,
this.
now but like you still got to stay course,
Yeah.
right? You still got to stay on the mission. So I'm big on analogies. It's like, if you played football, right? If you're running a route, you have to stay on that route, even if the DB pushes you off, or else you're not going to catch that ball. You're not going to be at the right spot when the QB throws it. So you got to stay on course, and you got to be strong enough. That's a physical example, but you got to be strong enough to not get distracted.
Yeah.
And that it's a mentality. Are you mentally strong enough to like not get consumed by the fruit? And fortunately, but unfortunately, I've built that strength. Sometimes I put it on myself. Other times it was just like, this person used to be my friend, and then learn through experience that they weren't.
Yeah. What do you think attributes, like, because I'm a firm believer that oftentimes the way we become, I mean, I think everyone's a firm believer, the way we become as adults is rooted in how we were raised as children, and the values that were placed in front of us. And, what were some early, maybe childhood memories, or, maybe going into your teens, that you feel really had a big role in shaping your value set?
My family always preached not being a follower, and that built a backbone over the years. Like, just not being like I was my own person in middle school too. I didn't really care to fit in. Like, if something was important to me, that's what I would focus on. But definitely faith. I grew up in a Christian household, and I always say a Christian household because I feel like there's a difference between being Christian and being religious. I think religion is more man-made, but being Christian is fearing God and not being judgmental, but like living the same way God did, right? And that's loving everyone. But like having that belief and faith, that's always been something I've been able to fall back on and use to justify my moral compass.
Yeah. No, I mean, I love that. And obviously, Faith has played a role in my life throughout, and sometimes I was closer to it, and other times I turned my back on it. But at the end of the day, now in this chapter of my life, I understand that having a close relationship with my God and having a faith play a role in spirituality really play a daily role, not just a underlying role. Like I
Yeah.
need to practice faith and stay connected spiritually, and I need to incorporate spiritual practices daily.
Yeah. It's a muscle.
Yeah.
Just like mind, body, and spirit. If you're not practicing it consistently, if you're not practicing it consistently, you're gonna stray. It's gonna like become less important, and you're gonna do what the world wants you.
Yeah.
But if you have like some consistency, so I try and put that in my schedule on at minimum a weekly basis. But yeah, faith, finance, physical, those are all different areas of health that if you don't pay attention to, there's going to be alerts,
Yeah.
whether it's an overdraft, whether it's your body telling you to slow down. Like you want to be proactive and get ahead of those problems. And that's the discipline. That's the
Yeah.
hard part.
You know, it's funny because recently I heard someone talking about this where the spiritual component of his life it's like a bank account, and each day you need to make a deposit because you don't know when you're going to need a ground spiritually in order to face something difficult.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not continuing to deposit in that spiritual bank,
Mm-hmm.
then at a time when you really need to lean on it,
You're going to lean
it
on
won't
something
be
else.
there, and you're going to lean on something else.
Exactly.
And that's actually rooted in recovery deeply on my end, where, you know, I need to keep my spiritual bank account pretty full, because when it gets low, then all these there's a reason why they call them spirits.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
lean on that.
Yeah.
And, you know, I it took me a long time to understand that, where, you know, where there is when you remove something that's a vice,
Yep.
you need to fill it with something positive. And that, you know, that's what I do, obviously, through the conversations that I have here and through any of the other work that I do. It's really grounded in making sure that it's purposeful and intentional, and that's something I'm going to lean into more in 2026 with, you know, certain different things that I'm going to do that I'm sure you're going to be a part of. And because you are like an inspiration to me when it comes to just how intentional you are with the things that you choose to associate yourself with. And I want to talk about, you know, I see how you manage relationships and I see how you connect with people. And, you know, one of the things that has been really cool to watch in just the ecosystem here in Fairfield County is your understanding of having to show up. You go to a lot of events, you shake a lot of hands, and it has, you know, both boosted your business, but also like boosted your Rolodex. But talk to me about the importance of these types of relationships and meeting face to face in that sense.
So it goes
'Cause
back.
you go to a lot of events.
Well, I've had to dial it back.
Yeah.
Yeah, like literally, I'll get extended invites, and I'm like, okay, does this make sense? It goes back to the intentionality. Like certain. I'm trying to say this without not being offensive.
It's all right. You can be offensive.
Okay. Certain people are going to be in the same places, right? So it's like a jazz club is different from the club,
Yeah.
you know? So you're going to find different people at these different spaces. And I've learned to be more intentional about like where I'm going. Does this make sense for me? Like, is the music so loud that I can't have a meaningful connection or conversation with this person that I can carry the next day? Like Run Club, you're gonna meet high achievers because you're running on a Saturday morning, right? So that means you didn't go out the day before. But like nothing against going out, but like I think it's important to recognize what's happening in your circle, because that comes from your environments too.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm gonna keep it real, man. Like, there's a lot of places I don't go because I'm gonna see somebody. All right, I get invited to a lot of events.
Mhm.
I say no to a lot of events, and the reason why is because, like, I know it's gonna be the same people I see at every other event, so it's like I could just call these people and text them or email them, you know. And I also, it's a time thing, but it's also like, you know, I was talking to a friend, and he basically was like, listen, like, the rooms that you're in, you want them to graduate, you know, year after year. The rooms that you're in, you want to continue elevate.
Mhm.
Like, and this may sound like kind of mean, but like there are certain rooms where like they may not be providing me value anymore,
Mhm.
you know, and like that's where I struggle with, because there are
Or-
friends of mine still
or-
in those rooms.
Or they could be pulling value.
Yeah,
Like there's a saying, new levels bring new devils.
yeah,
So it's like as you excel, is there an indicator that environment, because you've graduated, it's holding you back?
yeah. Well, you know what the thing is, man? Like, one of the things that has really been kind of bothering me is there's, I feel like the personal development space is very complex, because I think there are people within the personal development space who genuinely do want to help people. Then I think there's also a side of the personal development space where they just want to monetize betas. People monetize other people's insecurities, monetize other people's weaknesses, and prove, and then elevate themselves as the answer for your lack of self-confidence, the answer for why you have this vice. And I don't fuck with that, bro. Like, if I think, like, that comes down to the insecurity of someone who is pitching themselves as an alpha when they're really not, but they've just a good business person and a good marketer. And I think there's a lot of that going on, both locally and in the greater sense of the personal development community. And for me, it's made sense to distance myself, because, at the end of the day, like, you are the company you keep. And if I'm in a room full of, if I am cheering on someone who I see kind of like feasting off of other people's insecurity and monetizing in that sense, I don't really want to be a part of that. But I'd be happy to reach out to someone and be like, listen, I want to genuinely help you.
So who's being fed? Because like there are people who find validation or purpose through personal development, right? And sometimes that's a person that they look up to or aspire to be, or find some movement, right? So if that's betas, it's fulfilling for them
Yeah.
to continue going, right? And if someone enjoys just like feeding off of that, they're not forcing anyone's hand to continue attending.
Yeah.
They're both doing each other a service. And if that person says, I don't really rock with this anymore, then
Yeah.
they find another space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's just like more about, I say this all the time. It's like, stay really close to your day one, and make sure you're always being led by your why,
Yeah.
and
Staying on the route.
yeah.
But also being true to yourself too, because that's the easiest way to find like-minded people,
Yeah.
and then also filter folks who aren't.
Yeah.
Just being honest with yourself. Like, do I want to go there, or do I really want to go here?
Yeah. No, I agree with that. And I think this year, if I'm making an honest assessment, this last year, there was a little clout chasing on my side. There was a little positioning and wanting to be in certain rooms, and never was it like, hey, is mutual value there, And so like, I walked away where it almost felt that I put in a lot of work, and where I cared, it wasn't reciprocated. And that's a lesson learned, because at the end of the day, I made some good relationships through these experiences, but I learned a lot about myself through them. And I learned even more about what I actually want to do when it comes to the events that I curate, when it comes to like coaching people one-on-one, and, really understanding, because you talked about it earlier, where, there's going to be a vacuum of people who are going to be feeling lost within the next 5 to 10 years when, technology and AI takes away their jobs. And they're going to be people who, we meet them every day, bro, where when you ask them, like, what do you do? Or like, how are you important? Like, if the only thing they could talk about is work, to me, that's a red flag, because you're also a human being and you have a higher purpose other than your profession. And I worry about those people.
Yeah, I'm guilty of that because I love what I do.
Yeah.
But if you do anything too much, you're gonna end up hating it. But that's why I try and balance myself out. What was the question? Or?
I don't really think it was a question. It was me kind of ranting about, making sure that like I put myself around people who are really intentional about what they do and are doing it for the right reasons rather than just monetizing it. And
right reasons and aligned reasons. And you make a great point where there's gonna be a lot of people who are looking for direction, and like, who's to fault them for where they find it?
Well, I mean, I think on the theme of the podcast, it's like like you find it within yourself. Like you find it within the faith and the spiritual component that really makes you treasure the relationship that you have with yourself. I think that's the most important relationship.
But how do you get to finding it within yourself? Like, if it's those lost moments, where are you looking for it within a vice, or are you looking for it within this group that's going to direct you or help you find it within yourself?
Yeah.
If that's your foundation or good starting ground, that's better than bottom of a bottle or anywhere. Yeah. Anywhere that's not beneficial to the body.
Yeah. Well, I think, it starts with being 100% honest with yourself.
Yeah. Yep.
And I think that's hard to do for a lot of people. Oh, yeah. I mean, I know for me, for a very long time, it was very hard to do.
Yeah.
And also, like, surrounding yourself with people who are honest with you.
It's right? Uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable, and no one likes to be uncomfortable. Well, most people don't, but like, once you learn to, that's the best place to be. I have uncomfortable conversations with people all day long, and there's a way to go about it.
Yeah.
I think relationship definitely has to be there.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's like, do you care what I have to say? Does it resonate with you? Because you don't know me. And then delivery and approach, that's also important. But yeah, having friends that challenge you, those are good friends, not the ones who like just keep you where they see you comfortable. Those are the worst friends.
Yeah.
In my opinion, it's like, I'm comfortable seeing you this way, and if you step out of that, it's on me. Like, as a good friend, I gotta keep you humble. Who hired you to keep them humble? No, you don't want to see them that way. So it's just like, let me do my part.
Yeah.
Let me employ myself to keep myself comfortable.
Yeah. It's funny because, when you talk about those type of friends, like I do see where, I've had friends who liked a bad version of me because it served them better. Mm-hmm. And the real friends that I have now, like you said, are comfortable being like, yo, dude, like, check yourself. Like, what are you doing? And me and you have had these types of conversations. I mean, we were gonna, there's a project we were gonna work on, and I kind of was just like, hey man, like this isn't for me, and I don't know if it's right for you either.
Yep.
And that was a conversation that I really valued because you didn't take it in a way that you were offended.
No, and I'm glad you told me that.
Yeah.
Because you were right.
And there's a lot of people who would have avoided that conversation. And, I felt safe doing that with you because I would have felt worse not saying something. And then.
Thank you for that.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because eventually that was going to blow up.
Yeah.
And it's not like I wasn't warned, but it took, because it's tough. It's tough. It goes back to like, okay, this is the fruit not getting consumed because you know what it can be, and that's what your eye is on. So it takes a lot of strength to like walk away and be like, that's going to mess things up if I keep going that. It's a distraction.
I mean, I think it comes down to attaching yourself to outcomes. And I think, I did that a lot this year. And, what is your philosophy now? When it comes to outcomes and being open-minded to a variety of different outcomes over attaching yourself to one.
What are outcomes determined by?
How hard you work.
People.
Yeah.
Like, people make places. It's not that the place doesn't just exist. If the place is evil, that's because the people in there are evil, right? So like understanding the why behind anyone I work with, that will make the outcome clear. If it's money, then that person will be greedy if it benefits them and mess everything up. If their why is something deeper, like, okay, this is what I'm passionate about. This is what convicts me. That's something, but like understanding the why, I think that's vital to the outcome. And it makes it possible. So it's like, if your why isn't aligned with mine on that particular project, it might not work out because there's going to be some friction at some point, and even if that outcome's achieved, it might not be able to continue because, again, misalignment.
Quick break to shout out our sponsor, Relive the Moments. Founded by John Lim, they're redefining how we share memories. From tap-to-play photo frames to interactive coasters, they turn ordinary objects into powerful, shareable experiences. Perfect for weddings, events, or milestone moments. Relive, reconnect, reimagine. Check them out at www.relivethemoments.com. Now back to the show. I love that you say that. And, I want to talk a little bit about like connection. You talk a lot about that on your social media and where now people are really craving true connection, right?
Oh, yeah. That's, man, I wish I was something, anyway. So, to your point, people are craving connection. Like, dating apps are dying. You'll swipe and it's not effective. So, like, third places are becoming more popular. People started joining run clubs because, people were running on purpose who never would run. But all of a sudden, because they crave that connection, they're running. And that's what humans want. There are that exists in Europe. There's like third places where they design the architecture to create a community, and people just do that on their own. Whether it's a country club, a boat club, people want to be around people, and I think that community just has to be aligned with the person. To make the connection real. Sometimes it's intramurals, whatever the case may be. But as far as creating connection, you got to be interested in other people. interested not to benefit from it, but like this about you interests me and we can relate on it. That's a genuine, because I don't think it's, you tell me, but I don't think it's authentic to like connect with be friends with everyone.
Mm.
You know, like some folks you can hit it off the first day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that a lot of people now say they know people, and it's like, do you though?
Yeah.
Because I've had conversations with someone like, oh, I know that guy, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And then when I dig deeper, it's like they know them either because they like follow them on social media.
Mm-hmm.
They know them because they had a conversation with them 2 years ago at a networking event.
Yeah.
Like, you're right. Like, being friends with everyone is impossible.
Yeah.
And I think for me, it's really about quality over quantity.
Depth.
And I think it's also about alignment. So anybody who says they're friends with all these different people, it's like, are you, how much water is each relationship getting?
Yeah.
Because for me, I think it's more efficient and more valuable to water the relationships that are exactly how we talked about before, where it's like the people who are comfortable checking me,
Mm-hmm.
the people who know me, the people who are honest with me, not just about what they're doing, but also about how they see what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
And the ones who can be like, that's not you, Adam. So like, I like pouring water into those relationships rather than, you know, like I look at it as like you have a gallon of water, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have 4 plants. They each get a quarter. If I have 100, right?
How much? Yeah.
How much water will sustain those 100 relationships?
Yeah.
You know, if I have to divide them equally, right? So at the end of the day, it's important because I do know a lot of people,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and there are certain people I could call and we could have a meaningful conversation and whatnot. But like, I have 4,000 contacts in my phone. I think I have 4,000 contacts on, you know,
Yeah.
like anybody who like who reaches back out and is like, hey, like, let's talk, let's connect. I'm open to it. You know, I
Yeah.
would love to, you know, but like now we have 2 watering gallons,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and it's like, let's both pour water into them. And I think that's really important too. Right?
Yeah. It's there's got to be reciprocation. Can't be one-sided. That's not a healthy relationship. But yeah, all you really need is like 3, 4 good friends, and like sometimes you have those folks you don't see them for 1, 2 years, but you immediately hit it off.
Yeah.
You know, but realistically, actually, I'm gonna backtrack on that. Yeah, because I feel like there's some people they're just such good people.
Yeah.
I trust them. I
Yeah.
trust them more than the person I've known for like 5, 6 years,
Heard.
you know? And I would call that a good friend. But that's a reflection of that person's character. Yeah.
No, I mean, I get that. I mean, see, that's the thing also, man. Like, at the end of the day, you also kind of got to trust your gut when it comes to people. And that's something that I, for a long time, you know, in my past life, I don't want to say past life because it wasn't really too long ago. It was, you know, like 5 years ago, you know, but like, it was really like, what's my why when it comes to this relationship? And like, am I just looking for, you know, a transactional, like, what can I get out of them? You know, so it's also like about my intentions. You know, there are people who like right away you can meet and you're like, I like this person.
Mhm.
Like, you got to trust that. Like, they're genuine. You got to trust that. And more often than not, I think we project on what we want other people to be for us,
Mhm.
that we're willing to subconsciously ignore, you know, red flags along the way that really do reveal who they really are.
That is facts.
And we have this image of who they can be
Mm-hmm.
that we cling to.
Yeah. Selfishly can be for us.
And but also
Like,
because driven
red-
by the fact that we're good people.
Yeah.
You know? So we like to see the good in other people.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes that works, but a lot of the times it's they kind of believe exactly who they say they are
Yeah, you gotta
or
believe them
show
the
they
first
are.
time. That's like sometimes it's trial and error because there are people who wear a damn good mask, but can only hide that for so long.
Yeah, let's talk about finances.
Let's talk about finances.
Let's talk about what got you into the financial world, A, but B, what are some things that what are the top 5 things you would advise people to prioritize when it comes to their finances?
Okay. Top one, anyone could be financially free, right? There's levels, right? Like there's some folks who live in Greenwich and that's their norm. That's where they grew up. That's what their quality of lifestyle costs X amount, right? They stay beneath it, they're fine. That same person a, in Norwalk, it's not the same as Greenwich, but like they're living beneath their means. So they're financially free. They're able to not overextend. We finances or financial advising is very behavioral, right? It's like how can we manage the risk tolerance behavior of said person? Are they the type to want to keep up with the Joneses, or do they have enough self-control to like budget and live within their means? Are they the entrepreneur type?
Mm-hmm.
Entrepreneur type, they're comfortable with high risk. They want to grow, right? So like having that conversation is like, let's always keep your goals possible through the proper channels, right? So like investing doesn't take off your acquisition of another property or business. It makes it more possible, but we got to put that into perspective. Another thing is timing the market. Like a lot of people try and, okay, time a market crash. You really just want a dollar cost average, right? That's spending time in the market. So investing, excuse me, investing X amount every month will help you get all the gains, all the growth from the market. It's not, sorry about that. It's not rocket science. It's just really having the self control to like, okay, I want to accomplish this. Let's set up a plan to make it possible. Um, and then at the same time, like sometimes life throws you for a curve.
Yeah.
That's what we don't anticipate. When the car breaks down, it's like, okay, let's be prepared for those emergencies too. Um, it's not a it's not a conversation that most people like to have if they feel like things are not in order. But I care. I care a lot. I think that's why I'm in this business. It allows me to spread my care amongst several people.
You know, what are some common obstacles that you see people facing financially that is self-inflicted?
Mm. See, that word choice is interesting because part of it is self-inflicted, but the reality is things cost more than they did in 2000, like proportionately. Like it didn't cost as much of your income to rent. Like a lot of revenue is being concentrated um, at the top with people who own, right? So those are the folks who are really becoming financially free. But the folks who aren't buying leverage and assets, little by little, they're overextending because things are just getting more expensive,
Yeah.
right? What the houses used to cost like something crazy, like $20,000,
Yeah.
and income was proportionate. That's not the case anymore.
Yeah.
But as far as what folks are doing to self-inflict, Not having a budget. Like, you got to know what your expenses are for sure. And then just do your best to stay within that. If you have a budget for extra funds, then that's your play money. But you got to know what your foundation is first. And that's the first step. Um, and that could be tedious too. That's why I have a role. Like, I'm not worried about AI replacing my role because of what I've seen. I know like people are still gonna make poor decisions unless they have someone that they trust and listen to guide them appropriately. That's why the relationship is so important. Because like someone who doesn't trust me or know my intentions, they're not gonna listen to me.
Yeah.
And who's to say that they'll just go to AI and be like, oh, I should do this and this. Meanwhile, you have someone who understands who you are, how you behave, what's important to you, who's invested in guiding you to meet all your objectives, guiding your family to meet their objectives. That's the difference between AI and people. Like, people can care, right? So that's another way people shoot themselves in the foot. Like the same way you have a doctor that checks your health. I'm a doctor and
Checks your finances.
exactly.
Dr. Money.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
No, I mean, I love that. You know, like the work that you do within your community, within your church, and sharing the knowledge that you have to make other people financial literate is extremely important. What are I'm not gonna say like obviously everyone's financial landscape is different. What like when it comes to the human component of it, when you're talking to clients, like obviously it's a very vulnerable position. And I'm sure people lie to you.
You said you're sure people lie to me?
Well, I'm not lie to you, but like, one of the things that, last week I had Moose on and he was talking about how, in the real estate space, he has clients. And one of the things that's commonly said in the real estate space is buyers are liars. And because, they talk about, he's like at the end of the day, they talk about like where they are financially, blah, blah. Then, I have to peel the, pop the hood and look underneath.
Yeah.
And it's not exactly where they think they are.
Yeah.
I guess what I'm asking is, how often do you have a client who thinks their financial situation is X, but it's actually Y?
There's patterns with every industry. Like engineers, accountants, auditors, very analytical. Teachers, relationship based. Real estate is challenging because their idea of investing is rental income. And I see what Moose is saying because a lot of buyers will I'm exposing. They'll ask people for funds, like creditors, whether it's family, with a promise of a return in like 3 or 4 months. So it's like there isn't anything under the hood. They just have the relationships to put down a down payment, flip it, or get whatever needs done, and then I just expose everybody.
Yeah.
You're going to get some hate mail.
That's all right.
What's the address here?
No. I'll send them your address.
But yeah, there's truth to that. Like with those guys, if they're younger, I try and have them talk to older developers because older developers will say like, yes, this is a consistent asset, but you have situations like COVID where no one knew what was going to happen. You have situations like the 2008 market crash where if you're not diversified, you're at risk. You can't just have your eggs in one bucket, even if it's been like consistent year over year.
Yeah. It's funny because, like I've been listening to this podcast and they had a guest on talking about AI and the way that it's going to grow and where it is going to it's going to affect the middle class the most. And, you talked about that wealth concentration at the top.
Yeah.
But it's going to affect the middle class in a sense where it is going to automate a lot of their jobs, and that we will eventually move to a universal basic income and to supplement that job loss. Because if we don't, then the unemployment rate will be, in extremely high. And I find it kind of ironic that when we lose middle class jobs, there's a willingness to provide, and by middle class jobs, I'm talking about like office jobs, white collar jobs. When we lose white collar jobs, there is a willingness to incorporate relief for them through universal basic income. But when in the previous 2 decades, there has been tremendous loss in manufacturing sectors and blue collar jobs that have been replaced, but there was no effort ever to kind of provide them with any
and the
relief.
pendulum swings.
Well, it's like, okay, like
no, now the blue collar, construction, development space, those jobs are now not going anywhere.
Yeah,
but the white collar jobs,
particularly energy jobs.
So now the white collar job. But to your point, why? Because white collar jobs, they tend to have the ear of decision makers. Where blue collar jobs or blue collar workers, and I've seen this firsthand, they're on the go, working with their hands. They're not focused on lobbying or petitioning for
That's why
their
they have
industry.
unions.
Yeah. But like even with unions, like I think white collar jobs have a better hold on like getting things done.
Well, it's about more power because
that's what it is.
Yeah,
that's
white collar jobs at the end of the day are, they constitute a higher level of wealth than the blue collar jobs in a sense. Like when you talk about like the lower, like the guy on the job site, right? Like some of them are, don't get me wrong, the contractors are making money and the people who own these contracting companies are making money, but the day laborers are not, so they don't have much power, as opposed to like, the white collar jobs where, for the most part, even an entry level white collar job, you have a voice, if that makes sense.
Yep.
But like, I just found it, he was talking, this person on this podcast was talking about this, and it kind of blew me away because I do see it going in that direction because the wealth gap has just it's just getting bigger and bigger, where there is this like upper echelon of folks making a tremendous amount of money, and it's not trickling down in the way that, it's supposed to.
I really think AI is gonna force the hand there and throw everyone for a spin.
Yeah.
As far as your point, that's who has the ear. That's who has the power.
I mean, I think it's also crazy that there's other people who are just like, oh, I don't want to learn it.
It's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
They're just like, I'd rather stick to what I know.
Yeah. No, I get that. But I think also like in that age, going back to, what we were talking about in regards to like the value of human connection, because I think it is going to be scarce. And obviously, you just had that happen to you with social media, and you were able to connect with, a gentleman who was really like the opposite of you and your friend Brent. I want to talk about I want to jump into that a little bit as to like how that experience has changed you.
Okay. Backstory. I don't know if you're gonna put maybe a clip in the video. Video went viral, heartwarming story, and media outlets started reaching out. So like CBS, News 12, WFSBC is an affiliate, but Today.com, NBC. Because people, again, are longing for that connection. And I think we meshed because they're just, like, good people. So, and what really reinforced it was the first time I met their son, Beck. We meshed immediately. Like, it was 3 hours of us just talking, you know. Waiter keeps coming back and forth, and we're just catching up on everything, and like it feels like family.
Yeah.
You know, like I'll read the comments, and it warms my heart because it shows, one, there's faith being restored, because I think people have become so guarded because of what's going on in the world. It's super divisive, but it makes people comfortable smiling to a stranger
Yeah.
and like extending a hand. Yeah, at face value, we are different.
Yeah.
Economic status, different for now. I'm working.
Yeah.
Don't get me, I'm working. But but I think our mindsets were similar. And as far as how it's changed me, it made me, just like that interaction alone, just made me more comfortable in my own skin and seeing the beauty of what happens when you're true to yourself and lean into coincidences. So it's like that happens.
More often than not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just not everyone is gonna like embrace it. But like
Yeah.
it's there's beauty when you do.
I mean, in all honesty, I don't think I've ever heard that story, and it's been like a 7-year like growing relationship, and I think a lot of it's very, from the outside looking in, it's a very ironic story in a sense where people are admiring the human connection of that story digitally. You know what I mean? And it's kind of funny because, you know, it blew it the way it blew up, you know, digitally, but like now, like all the, you know, potential new in-person friendships that you can have through it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know, and I'm, you know, like I find it like some of the things, you know, through, you know, what I do, where, you know, it is really about human connection, which is why I have these conversations. But in order to share them, the most effective way for us to do it is digitally.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So we were talking about that too. It's like a superficial dopamine, because
Yeah.
it's like you look at Facebook, Instagram, you're looking at these people,
Yeah.
and it kind of feels like you're up to date with them, like you actually talked with them, but you didn't.
Yeah.
You know, so it's separated us apart because, you know, you get to doom scrolling,
Yeah.
and you feel like you're up to date, but that doesn't mean that relationship, that human connection is being fostered.
Yeah.
It's not real. You know, like there's I think it was a study, but like with relationships, if you spend time away from your phone, like a couple, your relationship will be stronger because your dopamine is coming from the person you're with and not the phone. You know? So it's a drug. I mean,
Yeah.
the algorithm is the algorithm for a reason. They're trying to feed you what you want to see, trying to feed you what feels good. We just gotta like be mindful because we know it. It's like folks know I'm spending too much time on the phone. I gotta put this down. That's what the phone's supposed to do, or the people who are selling it to you have it consume you.
I mean, you know, it's funny that you say that because, you know, I was watching a video and it was talking about how, like, you know, the founders of these different tech companies, how they raise their children. And I think they were talking to like Steve Jobs, and they were like, "Oh my God, like your kids must love the iPad." And Steve Jobs was like, "My kid doesn't have an iPad.
Yeah.
You know, he has pencils and he has coloring books and he has regular books. My kid doesn't have an iPad." And then like they were talking to like a tobacco company, and he was like, "Yeah, my family, nobody in my family smokes."
It's a drug.
You know, and you know, like now, like talking to like these AI companies, and they're like, "Yeah, we don't have like computers everywhere in our headquarters. We have like meeting places where people can have lunch and we have these other conference rooms with no TVs or anything where people can share ideas. And like these same people who are like obviously like monetizing all these things, they know how dangerous they are.
Yeah.
They know how quickly you could lose yourself through over consuming their products. And I think that's kind of crazy. And that's why, like, you know, like me and you, like when we hang out, bro, like even like we went to that event, some of the most valuable, the most valuable thing from hanging out with you was that car ride back when me and you just were able to like talk and see each other as men and share our thoughts and like that was like probably the best part of the whole evening. You know, I mean, the event was fun. You know what I mean? But like,
so the Greenwich Opera didn't matter.
No.
Let's
Shout
get
out
it
to
on
Greenwich
tape.
Opera.
Say it right.
Shout out to Greenwich Opera. It was a great
Best
event.
part of the night.
But dude, it was one of the most meaningful parts of the evening. Being able to recap it with you and talk about it, and then like, you know, like be authentic and with you, you know. And I think that was like that's something that I have with maybe a handful of people. You know, and where it just means a lot, you know? You know, Claudio, you know, even fucking Justin, God damn it. You know, like
Even Justin,
bro. Like we have these conversations and it's so important to just like have that in your life. And you know, that's, you know, like I know that's behind your mission and I know that's why you're good at what you do because you know to connect people on a human level.
Yeah. I think that's through transparency. Like you said, like the friends that you value the most are the ones that challenge you.
Yeah. I don't think I gassed up a guest as much as I just gassed up Kendrick. Shit. Yeah.
I'll pay you after. Don't worry.
Right, no doubt.
But yeah, I think that's important to have.
Yeah.
That really shows a person cares.
Yeah.
When they're like putting themselves in an awkward position to hold you accountable or just help you be better.
Yeah, man. I mean, I love that. You know, obviously, I think a lot of what we encompassed really falls under the umbrella on how people can find purpose. But directly, what does the word purpose mean to you?
I think purpose is what your calling is in life. And you find that through giving your best self. I don't think you fall into purpose. I think you just like trial and error, but you giving 100%, gradually it starts to tap. It starts to hit. And things just, they become aligned. Yeah. Like, it's just, you know, how we met. Everything in the past kind of builds you up for that, even if we don't know it in the moment. Later on, it makes sense because you got to be ready to handle the blessings or the purpose that was called for you. And that takes some grit. It takes some pain. I think the faster we're able to listen to God and be honest with ourselves, the quicker we get to that purpose. So it's like we slow ourselves down, right, by getting distracted on the route.
Yeah.
But when we stay the course, stay disciplined, prepared, we're ready for the catch, ready to catch that purpose.
Yeah.
Get that touchdown.
Hey, run that route.
Yeah.
Run that route.
I don't know if the Eagles scored the touchdown. I think the Patriots did. But
See you in the Super Bowl again. I think we won the last one.
Imagine if it's actually Patriots.
It might be 1-1.
Yeah.
You guys won in 2004. We won in 2017.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was embarrassing for you guys in 2017. So backup quarterback too.
You lost.
2017, we beat the Patriots. We ran the Philly special.
Okay.
And y'all look like fools.
Okay.
But
all right.
last question.
I really want the Patriots to play the Eagles in the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah, we'll watch it together. It'll be fun. It'll be real fun. What advice would you give to someone like the New England Patriots on the journey of finding purpose? Like Drake May.
What does Drake May? I think Drake May knows.
No, Drake May knows. He's that dude. I like Drake May.
Yeah.
All right. What advice would you give to someone on that journey of finding purpose?
Simply put, stay the course. Don't allow yourself to get distracted when it starts working out. Stay disciplined, like the same things that you were doing that allowed you to start seeing some fruits. Keep doing that. Keep doing that. Keep building off who you are. And make sure you have some solid people around you, too.
All right. Love that, bro. If you can, please talk to my audience, tell them how they can reach you, whether you have anything upcoming, whatever the camera's yours.
Yeah. 2026, I brought on 4 hires because, I do well in my industry, but I'm one person. Anything you're trying to build, nothing great is built alone. But we're going to be doing webcasts we're going to be doing webcasts every quarter, doing events every month that are for clients, just to get everyone in the same room, because I've seen special things happen from just clients being in the same room and those connections being made. But whole goal is to help boost, because another thing, so I think we touched on 2 out of the 5, but like in today's economy, you can't just work. You got to invest, save in order to keep up with rising costs, excuse me. But that's the main way that I help people. I help people navigate their financial life and give calm and clarity in that arena. So you can reach me at 203-404-4035. That is my business line. Email is firstname.lastname, kendrick.constant@nm.com, nancymary.com. And I will definitely respond. My phone's going off now. I got to get back to these calls, but I'll definitely respond.
Well, thank you so much, Kendrick, for coming on and kind of improvising. And I'm really grateful that I finally got you on. And if anybody needs to get in touch with him, you can reach out directly to me as well, and I'd be happy to connect you with Kendrick. I just a couple shout outs. I want to shout out Kai Visions, Claudio, Justin, the whole team over here does a great job with just like taking care of me, taking care of the podcast, taking care of the editing. And I couldn't be more grateful. If you're looking for marketing materials, want to launch your own podcast, want to just create some content, anything, feel free to reach out directly to me or them at Kai Visions on Instagram, or Claudio, Claudio, at kaivisions.com. I also want to thank our sponsor, Relive the Moments, John Lim, team over here. Him and Tina are amazing. They help to bring activations to a lot of my events, but they're a lot more than just that. Feel free to connect with me. I can connect you with John, or you can go to relivethemoments.com. Last but not least, a couple announcements for me and the Finding Purpose brand. We're really trying to build around this year. We are launching the Purpose Collective at the end of this month. That is a community built around the podcast, allows you to connect with the guests of the podcast, but also continue these conversations with perks with local businesses and whatnot. So you can go to my website, www.adamvora.com, to the podcast page, and you'll see more information in regards to that. Also, any of you who are looking for an avenue and feel lost and are trying to find purpose within their life, within their relationships, within, throughout this journey that we are embarked on, my course shift coaching is for you. Feel free to reach out to me directly. You can learn more at www.adamvora.com, ADAMVOHRA.com, or reach out to me on Instagram. Whatever you need to do. There's multiple ways you can contact me on any of my social media channels. I am super grateful for you for always listening, engaging. Please continue to share, and let's continue to grow this community and have a wider impact. So, thank you, everyone, and until next time.